everyone, Namaste, and welcome to the 12th episode of Yoga Shakti with me, Shailaja Menon. Now, I hope all of you have been following these episodes and practicing along with them as well. And I really hope all of you are staying safe during these very difficult, challenging, and uncertain COVID times. But know that the best thing that you can do, both for yourself and for the people that you love, is to take really good care of yourself. So make sure that you take care of your body, your breath, your spirit, and nurture yourself in all of these different ways. And yes, of course, yoga is the way. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be doing some poses which require you to take one leg back. Yeah, so let me demonstrate what I mean. So basically, bend one knee and take the leg back, right? So in this Manasa Yoga style that I practice, this drawing back of one leg signifies a reversal of sorts, a pulling back, a restraint of the normally continuously outward bound senses, right? So the world is referred to as Indriya Jala, right? A web or a snare, even of worldly attractions that our senses are always caught up in, right? And the problem with this is that we have absolutely no ability to withdraw from it or come back from it, even if these attractions are causing us pain, suffering, dragging us down, right? Because we're always operating through the force of our past patterns, our sanchita patterns that keep us continuously moving in the same way that we did yesterday, the day before, the year before, as a result of which we remain stuck. So, at the beginning of this year, as we are seeking to move forward into the highest vision of ourselves, let us evoke that capacity of vira or courage and strength that is required in order for us to do the work, to become more conscious, more aware, and through the sword of Viveka, that discriminative wisdom, have the ability to really cut and really disassociate ourselves from these grip of past patterns and patterns that drag us down, right? So, towards that, all of these poses are directed. So, as you do the practice, just connect to that beautiful philosophy behind the pose as well, because then the practice becomes so profound. So, you can actually think about all these patterns that take you down, that you have been trying to find a release from. And as you draw your leg back, really connect to that inner capacity of courage and strength, of vira, to try to release yourself from them. Namaste. So as you can see, the props have come out in full force. I'm going to be using a chair. I'm also going to be using my blocks, right? And I strongly encourage you to use them. You can just use any chair. Sure you have a dining table chair. And the blocks are really easy to get. So these really help you with your practice. Yeah. So I know some of you are very inherently opposed to using these props, but do explore and do try something different this year. Yeah, so we're going to start off with the Ekapada Virasana, for which we're going to bend one leg. Yeah, so this right knee I'm going to bend and take back. So just watch and take note that the heel actually comes outside. Yeah, so I'm not sitting on my heel. The heel is actually outside of my hip. Yeah, so this is how you keep the leg. And this actually requires a very deep flexion of your knee and requires a deep stretch along the front of your foot. So it might be quite painful. I've had students who complain that this is quite hard. So this is where the block comes in. So if I'm bending my right knee, you have to place the block below your left butt. Yeah, so just lift yourself up a bit and just place the block there, and that instantly eases the pressure, right? So what the block does is gives you that lift and eases the pressure off the knee and off the foot. Yeah, so this is a very, very good option for those of you who find this painful. Yeah, if sitting like this requires, it gives you a lot of pain. So I'm just going to take the block off, yeah, because I'm more comfortable without the block. So just keeping your leg here, and this chair allows you to get a forward fold wherever. So the beauty about all these poses is they can be broken down to different levels of intensity, right? So it doesn't have to be that you have to touch the floor only. So if you have a chair, it allows you to just come forward a bit, right? And just hold here. So the first position can be just placing your hands on the top of the chair seat, right? So that gives you a tilt, but it also doesn't require too much of you, right? So you can just stay here. This is already a beautiful position. You already have a beautiful pelvic tilt, and there's a nice stretch along the front of your thigh, right? And you also have that deep knee flexion. So all of this is already great. So just staying here, close your eyes, focus on your breath, inhale and exhale. Now you feel like you want to do more, or you feel like your body is ready for more, then you can actually go a little bit lower and hold the back of the chair. Yeah, so you can allow the chair allows you to hold something. It gives a good grip, right? So that allows our forward bend to become a little bit deeper as well. So just staying here as you inhale and exhale, I can already feel a deeper stretch coming along my spine, a deeper pelvic tilt as well. So I'm just exploring how the changes happen when I just lower my hands, right? And then finally, if you want something even more deeper, just releasing all the way to the bottom of the chair, right? Staying here as you inhale and exhale, spine long, breath soft, and stay. Okay, so slowly rising up. Now you can do the same thing on the other side, and you can go straight away into whatever level of intensity you think is right for you at this point. So I'm just shifting to my right hip to take my left leg back, and then I'm, trying to just find that place where the weight is evenly distributed between both the sit bones, and I'm not really overly tilted to any particular side. So I'm just going to start here first. Just going to be aware of my back, be aware of the pelvis. And then slowly, I'm just going to go a little bit deeper, just staying halfway here, just continuing to enjoy the position, just feeling the release. Last week, we talked about how the back holds all our past patterns. So, finding a deep release with these positions. So, I can even rest my head on the top of the chair seat, which makes it very comfortable for me to stay here for a while. And then finally, I can release all the way down. Okay, and then slowly rising up. So that was Ekapada Virasana supported by a chair, right? So I'm just going to show you the original position without a chair, for which you can always inhale and lengthen through your spine. Yeah, so when you inhale, it gives a nice length to your spine. Yeah, and then as you exhale, just coming forward as far as you can go, right? And then use your breath. Yeah, so as you inhale, arch your spine and look up. As you exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arch your spine, look up. As you exhale, folding forward. Right? So if you're comfortable, just staying here, inhale and exhale, really exploring your body, finding your edge, working through that. Okay, and like I've said before as well, there are many hand positions for these forward bends. So you can hold the sides of your feet, or you can hold the wrist, all depending on your level of flexibility. Right? And again, remembering it's never a competition, it's just doing what is right for you at this point in time. Now, inhale and rising up and release. And I'm just going to repeat that on this side. Take my leg back, right? And then make sure I'm not sitting on my heels. And lengthen through the spine. Exhale and fold forward and stay. Just focusing on my breath. And slowly rising up and release. Yeah, so I'm going to work into another variation called Kraunchasan, yeah, which is very similar in orientation with Ekapada Virasana. So I'm just going to bring the chair here. First, we do the chair supported version, and then we do the version without the chair. Yeah, so for which just keep one leg inside the chair and one leg out, right? Because it allows you to lift your, try to get your leg on top of the chair. So just lifting that leg onto your chair, just hold the chair seat and stay here, right? So try to keep your spine long. Inhale and exhale. Just feeling the stretch along the back of the leg, the calves, the back of the knees, the thighs. Yeah, and always really in forward bends, really always contracting the front of your thighs to get a deeper release along the hamstrings. So just staying here. Inhale and exhale. And release the leg. Yeah, so I'm going to take my other leg out here first, just coming forward slightly, and then lift the leg onto the chair, hold the chair seat edge, and working, just focusing on my breath. Inhale and exhale. Again, if I can, just sliding forward a bit, but trying to keep the spine long, just lifting through that heart space, just feeling the body open, stretch, release, enjoying those sensations. And slowly release. We're moving into the chair supported Kraunchasan position, for which you have to go back into that Ekapada Virasana, where you have to bend the right knee. Right? If you see, I always do this gesture of rolling out the calves because that allows me to sit evenly on my sit bones. Right? Otherwise, I'll be sitting lopsided like this. Right? So if I can sit evenly, then I'm more squared in my hip. So the heel is out. And then from here, Ekapada Kraunchasana is different because it requires you to take your leg a bit up. So adjust your chair however much you need to, and then try to take that leg up. Yeah. So from here, you just come forward. So it's a forward bend. So try to lengthen through your spine. Inhale and arch your spine. As you exhale, come forward. So you get a beautiful pelvic tilt. You get that deep stretch along the back of your leg, right? You inhale and exhale, just focus on your breath, keeping that heart open, just feeling the stretch. And then slowly release and then take the leg down and working the other side. Yeah, so you release this leg, bend the left knee, take the foot back, plantar flex the foot, right? So you can keep this knee bent here, and then from here, just slowly straighten the leg to take the leg on top of the chair, right? So just hold wherever is comfortable. So even right here is great. Yeah, so just staying here for a few seconds as you inhale and exhale. And then slowly, if you want a deeper stretch, just tilting your body forward, just holding wherever you can, right? That grip helps you to go deeper. and slowly release and take the leg off the chair. Take the chair out as we prepare for the traditional position without the props. So keep the knee bent. That's a really good way to get into the position. Hold the feet, yeah, so you can hold the sides of your feet and you can slowly try to keep that knee. So when you do this, you can feel that deep hip flexion, as a result of which the front of your thighs is very close to your chest. And from here, slowly work on straightening your leg. Yeah, so you can try this a few times. So it may not straighten straight away. So just lower down, just straighten the leg. So each time you try to straighten a little bit more. Yeah, so all of this, remember, is just inspiration and direction. So if it doesn't straighten fully, that's perfectly fine. Don't beat yourself up. Just do your best. Yeah, so as you can see, finally, if I'm just doing this for some inspiration, so you can just hold the wrist, right? So when you get really flexible, right, it might take a few months to get there, but if you can hold the back of your wrist, then you get a really deep position where your body, the front of your thigh and your chest is so deep and you're looking up towards your toe. And slowly release and change leg. Yeah, so I'm going to release that left knee, bend the right knee, and then from here I'm going to bend the left knee, just hold the sides of the feet, and just try to straighten. So for the first few times, I'm just going to be really easy. Just inhale and exhale, just using my breath. Then I'm thinking maybe now I can finally straighten, right? So I just find my best position. If you bend your elbows, you always get a deeper position. Yeah, then you can see my spine is rounding a bit. So I try to sit tall, right? So just making all of these adjustments, just holding the position. Yeah, and then bend the knee. And then finally, that if you are trying for a really deep position, so you can hold the wrist here. So the holding the wrist like that, right? And then keep the thigh close to your chest. Maintain that as much as you can as you straighten your leg. Look up. Slowly release. And let's move into the next position. So, in between all of these positions, it's always good to sit with your legs straight, right? Because otherwise, all of these poses require very deep knee flexion, right? So, when you sit with your knees straight, you give it a nice extension, which is like a counter pose. And with the chair, it's so relaxing. Yeah, it's so deeply healing as well. So, just staying here for a few breaths as you inhale and exhale. So, make it a point whenever you do positions to work on a counter as well. Right, so we're going into the last of these positions here. It's called Marichi E, and it's a very similar family of poses with what we were doing earlier, which is having to take one leg back, which is why I clubbed it together with all of these positions. So we could have a whole series of interconnected positions. Yeah, so it's leading from the earlier position. So to start off with, you have to bend the right knee, and this is like Ekapada Virasana that we were doing earlier. And we also, to work into Crown Chasana, we also bent the left knee, right? So that is very similar to what we need to do for the coming position. And to remember to always try to get the heel as in as possible. Yeah. So sometimes if you're not conscious, the foot may be, slightly outward. And if that's what your body allows at this point, that's fine. But eventually you're trying to get that foot in so that you can actually come to the front of your sit bones. Yeah. So all forward bends require that pelvic tilt for which you have to be at the front of your sit bones. Right. So if I'm leaning back like this, it's kind of hard to do a forward bend. Yeah, so try to come to the front of your sit bone for which you have to really press down into that left foot. Yeah, so that allows me to get a deeper tilt. And then use the chair. Chair is really a beautiful, easy way to deepen your forward bend. So it also allows you to work at your level, right? So if you just want to stay here, that's perfectly fine. You feel supported, you're able to stay for a longer period. Right now, you want to go deeper, you can take your hand lower. Right, so all of it is possible with the chair. Yeah, you can increase your level of intensity depending on what your body is ready for right now. Yeah, and then just staying here for a few more breaths. Yeah, and then one thing you have to try to do is really try to go forward as much as you can. Yeah, and slowly release and change. Yeah, so I'm just going to work on the other side, which might make it a little bit more clear. So I can already feel the pressure on my knee, right? So just tilting to the right side, taking the left knee back, right? Sitting evenly on both the sit bones. And I'm going to bend the right knee, right? So I said initially maybe we'll be like this, but eventually trying to get that foot in. So literally like you're standing on that, with the energy of the pose must be coming forward. Yeah, and then if you can extend your arms forward, like I was telling you earlier, it really allows you to get a deep forward bend. And this is necessary for a bind, right? We talked about what we're going to do next, which is Marichi E, and that is a bind. But for the bind to happen, we need to have this elbow and this armpit coming beyond the knee, right? So if I'm sitting like this, it's very hard for me to bind, right? I can't, my hand can't go around. So I need to be coming forward, and then from here, it is very easy to take a bind. Yeah, so that is why we work with the chair. We really work on that beautiful length to the spine, right? All of which will help us in the bind, right? So I'm just going to work into the bind, for which I'm going to just take the chair out so it's a lot more clearer. Yeah, so just coming forward, so working into the traditional Marichi position. And from here, right, so from wherever I am, I take my hand around the knee. Yeah, and then my left hand, it goes behind as well. I can take hold of my wrist or my fingers, whatever is fine. And like I said, the energy of the position is coming forward. Yeah, so I can feel a lot of pressure on my right foot, right, as my body seeks to come forward, right? So I can even fold deeply and release. Okay, so slowly inhale and rising up. I'm just going to do this on the other side as well. So just gently, even as you straighten your legs, just being very gentle, very aware. So working on the other side now. So bend the right knee and then bend your left leg, left foot on the floor, right? And then like we were talking earlier, try to come forward as much as you can, trying to find that deep pelvic fold. And then if like I feel like this is my edge, okay, I've maxed it, then I go into the bind, my hand goes around, the other hand goes around, and I fold. Yeah, so I can really find that deep pelvic fold. Okay, slowly rising up and releasing the hand, releasing your leg, right? So, like I said, it's really important to do the counter positions. So just keep the knees as straight as possible, right? And then just coming forward into a beautiful forward bend called Paschimottanasana. So again, many ways of holding it. You can hold your big toes, you can hold the sides of your feet, right? Inhale and arch your spine, just lengthening through your spine, right? And as you exhale, just folding deep. So all of this stretches the back of the knee, a beautiful extension for the knee, a beautiful counter to all the deep knee flexion that we have been doing so far. And inhale and rising up. Then if you feel like it, again, only a direction and an inspiration, just holding the back of your wrist and forward. Just surrendering fully to the moment. and slowly rising up and coming up. Yeah, so for me, this position signifies that beautiful practice of Ishvara Pranidhana, which is not just something that we talk about or theorize about, but we can also embody through our postures, right? So many times in life, especially during these very difficult times, we don't understand why things are the way they are. We don't understand the suffering around us within our homes, within our lives as well, right? So sometimes when we don't understand and our logical, rational mind cannot add everything and 2 plus 2 doesn't really add up to 4, right? Then these beautiful concepts, these philosophical concepts of Ishvara Pranidhana, the surrender to the larger wisdom of the universe, really comforts us and helps us to heal and renew and move forward with courage, with Veera, which has been the basis of this episode. So, really finding that deep courage that comes with the faith in the universe. Ishvara Pranidhana and Namaste.